What if I told you the truth you cling to never existed? Imagine waking up and realizing that every belief you held, your morals, your dreams, your sense of right and wrong, was built on quicksand. No ultimate judge. No cosmic justice. No grand design. Just chaos disguised as order. This isn't a dystopian fantasy. It's the philosophical earthquake, Friedrich Nietzsche, unleashed in 1882. 3 words. One existential bombshell: God is dead. But this wasn't some atheist's victory lap. It was a funeral procession. A warning siren. Nietzsche wasn't mocking faith. He was mourning the death of meaning itself. Because for millennia, humanity built its identity on one foundation: the divine. Right and wrong were handed down from the heavens. Life had a script, a judge, and an audience. But then, we turned on the lights. Science explained the storms. Rationality questioned the scriptures. And suddenly the sky felt empty. Nietzsche didn't say we proved God wrong. He said we stopped needing him. We dismantled the altar with our own hands through logic, progress, industry. But what we didn't realize was that by removing the divine, we'd yanked the spine out of morality. If there's no higher purpose, why be good? If there's no eternal justice, what stops cruelty? If there's no objective truth, then who decides right from wrong? That's the abyss Nietzsche saw. Not atheism, not rebellion, but a terrifying void. He predicted that the collapse of God would unravel everything tethered to him. Ethics would become opinions, purpose would become preference, and society would spiral not from chaos, but from a deeper despair, nihilism. The belief that nothing matters, that life is void of inherent value. Sound familiar? Today, depression is skyrocketing. Anxiety disorders are global epidemics. People float from belief to belief, like digital nomads of the soul, spiritual but not religious, passionate but rootless, informed but empty. We post mantras, we manifest realities. But deep down, a question lingers: does any of this mean anything? Could it be that Nietzsche wasn't forecasting the future, but describing the present? And if that's true, if we're living in the fallout of a dead God, then we face Nietzsche's great challenge. What now? He didn't want humanity to collapse under the weight of this revelation. He wanted us to evolve. If there is no divine map, then we must draw our own. If morality isn't given, then it must be chosen. If meaning isn't found, then it must be created. But that's not easy. That's terrifying. It means no one's coming to save you. It means you can't outsource your values to tradition. It means freedom, but with the crushing weight of responsibility. Nietzsche's answer wasn't despair. It was the Übermensch, the overman. A being who doesn't just survive the collapse of meaning, but transcends it. Someone who crafts their own purpose, lives by self-created values, turns suffering into strength. It's not a superhero. It's a standard. And maybe, just maybe, that's the way forward. Not to return to old beliefs out of comfort. Not to deny the void out of fear, but to stare into it and build something new. So the next time you hear God is dead, don't hear mockery, hear challenge. A challenge to rise above inherited truths, to stop waiting for meaning and start creating it, to stop living by default and start living by design. Because the question is no longer, what is true? It's, what truth will you live by when the old ones fall silent? This isn't the end of belief. It's the beginning of responsibility. I'm creating a YouTube video script. I want you to write a completely original version, inspired by the one I imported above, keeping the same structure, formatting, and engaging tone. Make sure the script feels fresh and unique, not a copy. Write directly without explain or intro. This is so much important. Don't write unnecessary thing, like music, or similar portent. Give it to me in 650 words. Don't forget to give me the text with punctuation. It's the most important thing. This is the text. What he has just written. He knows that these words will not just spark debate, they will set the world on fire. To understand why N uttered these infamous words, we have to step back into his world. A world at war with itself. Europe in the late 19th century was undergoing a radical transformation. Science had begun to strip away the Maya of the universe. Darwin's theory of evolution had shattered the belief that humans were divinely created. The Industrial Revolution had turned the old world into a machine-driven empire. Faith, once the heartbeat of civilization, was fading for centuries. Religion was the foundation of morality, purpose, and truth. But now doubt was creeping into the hearts of people. Science explained life in ways that did not require God. Society was evolving beyond the moral codes dicta by ancient scriptures, and saw what many refused to acknowledge: the world no longer needed God. But this was not something to celebrate. This was a crisis. Nietzsche was not an atheist in the modern sense. He was not just rejecting God, he was mourning his death. Imagine a child realizing for the first time that Santa Claus is not real. That moment of shock, betrayal, and emptiness. Now amplify that feeling 1,000 times. That was Nietzsche's vision for the world. He was not saying God never existed. He was saying we have killed him, and in doing so we have left ourselves stranded with no moral compass, no ultimate truth, no meaning. Nietzsche saw himself as a prophet, screaming into the void, warning humanity about the disaster ahead. He knew that without God, society would spiral into nihilism. A world where nothing matters. People would replace religion with blind consumerism, political fanaticism, or shallow pleasure, desperately trying to fill the void. But here's the heartbreaking part. Nietzsche did not just predict this crisis, he lived it. A genius ahead of his time. He spent his final years in solitude, misunderstood, battling both illness and madness. He was a man burdened with knowledge too terrifying for his time. His words would go on to inspire generations, but in his own lifetime he was ridiculed and dismissed. Can you imagine the frustration knowing you have uncovered a truth, so powerful, so dangerous that the world is not ready to hear it, watching as society sleepwalks into the abyss, unable to stop it? Nietzsche was that man, a lone voice in the dark, and as he sat there staring at those words, God is dead, he knew that history would never be the same again. The psychological impact of God is dead. Imagine this. You are standing on the edge of a vast, endless abyss. You look down expecting to see something, anything, but there's nothing, no ground beneath your feet, no light to guide you, no voice to tell you which way to go. Just a terrifying emptiness. Now imagine that abyss is inside your mind for centuries. Religion. I'm creating a YouTube video script. I want you to write a completely original version inspired by the one I imported above, keeping the same structure, formatting, and engaging tone. Make sure the script feels fresh and unique, not a copy. Write it directly without explain or intro. This is so much important. Don't write unnecessary thing, like music, or similar. Give it to me in 650 words. Don't forget to give me the text with punctuation. It's the most important thing. This is the text. Acted as humanity's safety net. It gave us purpose, told us what was right and wrong, and promised us that no matter how chaotic life seemed, there was meaning behind it all, a divine plan, a higher purpose. But then Nietzsche came along and ripped the safety net away. And the question that remained was, what happens to a mind when everything it once believed in is suddenly gone? Psychologists today call it an existential crisis, a moment when everything you thought was true, your beliefs, your morals, your purpose, crumbles in front of you. It's the kind of experience that can break a person. And then knew this better than anyone. When he declared God is dead, he was not just talking about religion, he was talking about the collapse of an entire psychological framework. Without God, there was no ultimate justice, no cosmic plan, no guarantee that life had any inherent purpose. And here's the terrifying part. Most people are not prepared for that kind of freedom. At first, the idea of a world without God might sound liberating. No rules, no divine judgment. Just pure unrestricted freedom. But freedom without direction is like drifting in an ocean, without a map for many. This realization is overwhelming. Without a higher power defining morality, who decides what's right or wrong, without a divine plan, what's the point of suffering? Without the promise of an afterlife, why does anything matter? This is not just a theoretical problem, it's a psychological nightmare. In Nietzsche's time, people still clung to the remnants of religion, but today, we are living in the world. He predicted a world where traditional beliefs are fading, and people are left to navigate meaning on their own. Depression, anxiety, and nihilism are on the rise. More people than ever before feel lost, disconnected, and without purpose. And maybe, just maybe, it's because we have killed the very thing that once gave life meaning. But here's the twist: N never said that humanity could live without meaning. He knew that if people abandoned God, they would not just accept meaninglessness, they would look for something else to replace him. And that's exactly what happened. Some turned to political ideologies, treating them with the same blind faith once reserved for religion. Others drowned themselves in materialism, believing that wealth or status could give them purpose. And then there are those who chase pleasure, constant entertainment, distractions, anything to avoid facing the void inside them. But deep down, none of it truly satisfies the feeling of emptiness, remains, because meaning can't just be replaced, like a broken light bulb. It has to be rebuilt, and N believed that only a rare kind of person could do it. A person strong enough to face the abyss, without breaking, someone who does not crumble in despair, but instead creates their own purpose. A Superman. But how does one become that? And more importantly, can you? The dangerous truth of a godless world. I'm creating a YouTube video script. I want you to write a completely original version inspired by the one I imported above, keeping the same structure, formatting, and engaging tone. Make sure the script feels fresh and unique, not a copy. Write directly without explain or intro. This is so much important. Don't write unnecessary thing, like music, or similar. Give it to me in 650 words. Don't forget to give me the text with punctuation. It's the most important thing. This is the text. A world without limits. Imagine a world with no divine rules, no absolute morality, no cosmic justice. What would stop someone from lying, stealing, or even killing, if there's no higher power to judge them? If there's no heaven to reward goodness, and no hell to punish evil, then what's the point of being good at all? This is the terrifying question N forced the world to confront when he said, God is dead. He was not celebrating. He was warning us. He saw a future where people, unchained from religious morality, might lose all sense of right and wrong, and history has proven him right. A world without God can be far darker than anyone imagined. The misunderstanding of N's message. One of the biggest mistakes people make about N is thinking that he was simply an anti-religion rebel. They assume he was just saying, God does not exist, so do whatever you want. But that's not what he meant. He was not just talking about religion, he was talking about the entire moral structure, built around it for centuries. Humanity lived by moral systems, based on religious principles, ideas of justice, compassion, sin, and virtue. These were not just spiritual beliefs, they were the foundation of civilizations. Even atheists today live by moral standards, shaped by religious history. But N knew that once people rejected religion, they would not just abandon God, they would abandon the moral order that came with him, and that's when things get dangerous. The rise of nihilism and power struggles. When people stop believing in a higher power, they don't suddenly become enlightened beings. Many fall into nihilism, the belief that life is meaningless, morality is an illusion, and nothing truly matters. And when that happens, something terrifying occurs. If there's no ultimate right or wrong, then the only thing left is power. Nietzsche feared that in a godless world, people would not seek truth or meaning, instead they would turn to domination. The strong would impose their will on the weak, morality would become whatever the most powerful people decided it to be. This was not just a theory, history has already shown us what happens when morality is replaced by raw power. Nietzsche's philosophy was deeply complex, but after his death, it was twisted by those who sought to use it for their own agendas. One of the most infamous examples is Adolf Hitler. Nazi ideology misused N's ideas, especially his concept of the Übermensch Superman. Nietzsche spoke about transcending traditional morality to create new values, but the Nazis distorted this into a doctrine of racial superiority. They believed that might makes right, that power was the ultimate truth, and that morality was whatever they decided it to be. N would have been horrified. He despised nationalism, despised blind obedience, and despised the kind of herd mentality that led people to follow authority without question. His philosophy was not about justifying cruelty. It was about the terrifying that drives individuals to rise above despair, to shape their destiny, rather than be shaped by it. It's not about domination over others, it's about mastering yourself, about standing in front of the chaos of life, and saying, I will build something from this. The will to power is not arrogance. It's not cruelty. It's responsibility. The responsibility to choose your values, your direction, your purpose, even when the universe stays silent, especially when the universe stays silent. In Nietzsche's world, nothing is handed to you. There's no divine instruction manual, no sacred guidebook, only the raw material of existence and your ability to mold it. This is what separates those who collapse under the weight of freedom from those who rise with it. Most people, when faced with the terrifying openness of life, retreat. They run back to old systems, to ideologies, to pre-packaged answers. They crave certainty, even if it's a lie. But the Übermensch, the one who transcends, takes a different path. They don't avoid the void. They walk into it. And they build. They turn the chaos into art. They turn pain into power. They turn the death of old gods into the birth of new possibilities. That's the future Nietzsche dreamed of, not a world of destruction, but a world of creators. A world where meaning isn't inherited, it's invented. But this path is not easy. It demands everything from you. It means facing uncomfortable truths. It means accepting that no one is coming to save you. It means forging a new morality, one that fits your reality, your life, your mind. And it means risking failure. Because when you create your own values, you also risk creating the wrong ones. But Nietzsche believed that trying and failing is still better than never trying at all. He saw the death of God not as an end, but as a beginning. The fall of old meaning was the space in which new meaning could emerge, not imposed from above, not borrowed from others, but born from you. It starts with asking yourself the hardest question of all. What do I believe? Not because someone told you, not because it's written in a book, but because you looked into the void, and you answered back. That's the dangerous freedom Nietzsche dared us to embrace, the burden of it, the beauty of it. And maybe that's what he truly meant. Not just that God is dead, but that now you must become the creator, not of worlds, not of religions, but of yourself. So the next time you feel lost, empty, drifting in the vast sea of uncertainty, remember this: you are not here to be given meaning, you are here to create it. 'Tis rising. Loneliness is epidemic. We live in an age of endless information, and yet feel more lost than ever. Why? Because we removed the framework that gave life a story. We replaced gods with screens. We replaced reflection with distraction. We swapped inner peace for external approval. Nietzsche saw it coming. He warned us, if we destroy the old gods, but fail to become something greater, we will drown in emptiness. And we are. We're told we can be anything, but given no map to become something. We're free to believe whatever we want, but terrified to truly believe in anything. We chase meaning in followers, fame, fast dopamine, but it always slips through our fingers. This is the heart of the modern crisis. We want purpose, but fear the price of creating it. We want direction, but refuse to choose a path. We want freedom, but not responsibility. And that's where Nietzsche's message hits like a hammer. He wasn't mocking belief, he was mourning its loss. He wasn't celebrating chaos. He was challenging us to face it. He wasn't trying to destroy morality. He was daring us to rebuild it. This isn't about religion versus atheism. It's about what happens after fail. When the old meaning is gone, what do? You either crumble, or you rise. You rise by becoming the creator of your values, your beliefs, your purpose. That means taking every ounce of fear, confusion, pain, and turning it into something. It means no longer outsourcing your identity to society, tradition, or ideology. It means daring to ask, what do I want to stand for, no matter the cost. This is what Nietzsche meant by the Übermensch. Not a tyrant, not a brute, but a human who dares to become more honest, more intentional, more powerful in the deepest sense. And this is where you come in. You are not here to follow a script. You are not here to drift through life hoping someone tells you what it means. You are not here to die with regret. You are here to create your values, your voice, your reason for existing. And no, it won't be easy. You'll face resistance. You'll doubt yourself. You'll stare into the abyss and want to turn back. But if you push through it, if you rise above it, you will experience something most people never touch. Real freedom. Not the freedom to do whatever you want. The freedom to become who you are. The old world is gone. The gods are dead. But something greater can be born from you. So now we arrive at the final moment, not a question. A choice. Live in fear, or live in truth. Sleepwalk through someone else's meaning, or wake up and make your own. Which will you choose? The world is drifting. Not physically, but spiritually. Rates of depression are rising. Anxiety is becoming the norm, and more people than ever are silently asking, what's the point of all this? This is exactly the world Nietzsche warned us about. A world unmoored from certainty. A world where the old gods are gone, and the structures they built are crumbling. But Nietzsche wasn't some cynical prophet trying to burn it all down. He gave us a warning, and a challenge. He knew that when the idea of God fades, it doesn't just take religion with it. It takes purpose. It takes meaning. It takes the moral compass generations lived and died by. And in that void, something else has to emerge, or we collapse into chaos. But Nietzsche didn't want us to collapse. He wanted us to rise. If the heavens are silent, then it's on us to speak. If no divine hand is writing our story, then we become the authors. If God is dead, then the burden and the power of creating meaning falls on us. This isn't just philosophy. It's personal. Whether you're religious, spiritual, agnostic, or atheist, this message is for you, because no matter where you stand, life will eventually demand that you face the abyss. That moment, when all the comforting answers fade, when nothing feels certain, and when that moment comes, you have two options. You can run, hide behind beliefs you never chose. Let culture, tradition, or fear tell you what to think, how to live, who to be. Or you can stand still, look into the abyss, and instead of being swallowed by it, build something inside it. Nietzsche didn't want us to abandon meaning. He wanted us to take responsibility for it, to stop looking up, and start looking inward. What do you believe is right? What do you think is worth living and dying for? What values would you defend, even if the world turned against you? Those are the questions that forge a real morality, one not borrowed, but earned. This is the terrifying freedom Nietzsche spoke of. No roadmap, no divine approval, just you, with the power to create something new, you, with the strength to say, I will not follow blindly. I will not collapse into despair. I will shape my life with intention. But let's be honest, it's not easy, because creating your own path means walking alone at first. It means failure, doubt, and days where nothing makes sense. It means building values that are tested, not gifted. But here's the truth. Nothing meaningful ever came from comfort. Your greatest strength is not in following what already exists. It's in daring to build what doesn't. So ask yourself, will you let the weight of meaninglessness crush you? Or will you, like Nietzsche envisioned, become strong enough to carry it, to rise above it, to transform it? Because in the end, God is dead is not a celebration. It's not a funeral. It's a challenge, a call to action, a demand to stop waiting and start creating. You are not a bystander in this story. You are the author, and the next chapter begins the moment you decide to take control. So what will it be? Will you fall into the abyss, letting others define your purpose? Or will you rise above it and define your own? If this made you think, don't stop here. Like this video. Subscribe for more ideas that challenge you. And tell me in the comments, what does God is dead mean to you? Is it a loss, a warning, or the greatest opportunity of all?